Hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning into my video here today. Sorry, it's been a while since I've uploaded any content to my channel. I've been a little busy with work. I'm working on a particular proof of concept with a customer right now, and I realized I didn't have my AWS account tied to my on-prem Aria Automation instance. So I'm going to add that in. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is get access to Route 53 to add some DNS capabilities to an automation template that I'm working on. So I figured, why not make a quick video about how to do it while I'm going through the process of adding my AWS account to my on-prem Aria Automation deployment. I am going to reference two links. Let's flip my slide here. A page inside of VMware's documentation that talks about how to add cloud accounts, and then specifically the user guide to identity and access management of AWS. If you're not familiar, because part of the process to adding the cloud account is creating a user and having basically an access key that you can use to have pragmatic access into your AWS environment. So the documentation from VMware explains the permissions that you need to have assigned to the particular user that you set up inside of AWS. And then, like I said, the second link is really for just how to actually do that inside of the AWS console. I'll try to add that to the notes when I upload the video. So anyways, let's jump into my lab. And you can see currently logged into my on-prem lab Aria Automation deployment, and I currently only have a vCenter account set up. So fairly straightforward. I'm going to click Add Cloud Account, and then you'll see the different endpoints that I can connect to with my Aria Automation deployment. So I am running an enterprise license, which means I do have support for multi-cloud, if you will, so I can deploy to AWS. Now, what I'm going to do is create a name. So I'll just say it's my AWS lab. Oops, help if I can type correctly. Then I'm going to add in my access key. And I'm just going to quickly reference my secret key. Add that in, and then I'm going to validate it. Hopefully this will work. Cool. So far, so good. So you can see I validated, I have access to my AWS environment. And then now the next step is really to determine where you're going to allow deployments to. So in this case, I'm going to choose US East 1. Then I'm actually just going to leave it at US East 1 for now because it's just my lab. And then I can create a cloud zone by default. I'm going to actually uncheck that. I'm going to do this manually. And then you could place a capability tag at the cloud account, but it probably makes more sense to do it at the cloud zone itself, in my opinion. But just know that you could put a capability tag there if you needed to. So I'm going to allow provisioning in the US East 1. I'm not going to create a cloud zone, and I'm going to click Add. All right, you can see so far so good. Looks like it connected and everything is working as we would expect. Some data collection kicked off, image synchronization, and it is available for deployment. So just to take a step back for a second, just to call out the documentation, you could see here, inside of docs.vmware.com, we have a section on adding cloud accounts. And then specifically inside of here, there's some background information on what's possible, how it works. Then we also have information on specific credentials that you would need to add in a cloud account. So for example, your vCenter cloud account credentials, and everything that it needs access to. Then an AWS cloud account, what it needs access to. And then from there, there are specific directions that basically walk you through exactly what you need to do to add that cloud account like we just did. So fairly straightforward. And there's more. What's nice about going through the documentation is you always discover that there's other links, other sections of the docs that maybe you haven't seen yet. Like in this case, how to use tags to better manage your cloud assembly resources and deployments, right? And creating a tagging strategy, all really important when you're thinking about, how you want to control the way your services are deployed and where they're deployed, most importantly. Then here's a section inside the AWS documentation that just talks through how their identity and access management works. Highly recommend going through this, certainly just to get some background on what it's doing, and then also so you know how to set up the user that you're gonna use to create that access key to have that pragmatic access into AWS. Just give you an idea of what it looks like. You can see I have 2 users set up inside of my environment, and then I have access keys associated with them. So that's pretty much it. I mean, now I'm connected. My next step, what I would do is create a cloud zone. So I'm just going to open up my vSphere side for a second to refresh my memory of my tagging strategy. Cool. So we're going to say new cloud zone. You can see I'm picking up my AWS region. I'll call this zone AWS lab. I'm going to just leave the placement policy at default for now. My capabilities, I'm going to say environment AWS. You can see it picked up the availability zones that are available inside of the US East region. And then right now there's no projects associated with this cloud zone. So I'm going to go ahead and click create. And now you can see I have environment AWS, and see my tagging isn't going to match up quite right. So I'm also going to add tzabo dev. From there, I can come into my projects, go into my development project, and inside of provisioning, I can add that new cloud zone that I created. And then I can set different priorities, instance limits. I'm going to throw 15 on here just so I don't make any crazy mistakes. I have a large bill, and I'm going to click add. And that is that. I now have my AWS endpoint added into my Aria Automation. I can start to modify my templates to add in and access my my Route 53 hosted DNS zone. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'll try to post videos more frequently. Thank you.